Hey everyone, and welcome to Midtown Manhattan. Today is Friday, January 24th, 2025. And on today's New York City walking tour, we're going to be walking from East 37th Street and Fifth Avenue all the way up to the Plaza Hotel, which is on the corner of Central Park South and 5th. It's quite the frigid and freezing night. We're actually in what's called a polar vortex. So it is going to be quite chilly and windy on the walk tonight, but I think the city looks quite beautiful regardless. Now, as we head up, if you look to your left, you're going to see the old Lord & Taylor building. I'm sure many of you remember Lord & Taylor. It has now been sold. I think either Amazon or Meta is in here. I believe it's Amazon. I have to triple check, but it's right on the corner of Fifth Avenue and East 38th Street. It's quite the remarkable and beautiful building. If you look all the way up at the top, it still has the original Lord & Taylor logo there. And during the holidays, back in the day, during Thanksgiving and Christmas, Lord & Taylor used to have some of the best windows. So when you think of Christmas windows, holiday windows, many people now think of Macy's. But there was a time when you were able to walk down Fifth Avenue and look at all the beautiful holiday displays right here at Lord & Taylor. Now it's been converted to offices. That's something you're seeing a lot in the city, by the way. Conversions not only to office, but residential as well. There's a lot of old, let's say, Class B and Class C office towers that are now being repurposed, assuming zoning permits, to residential apartments, particularly rental apartments. The highest concentration of office to residential conversions is actually down in Lower Manhattan. Coming up just to the left, this is going to be the Stephen Schwarzman building. This is the very famous and iconic New York Public Library. Now, Stephen Schwarzman, for those of you who don't know, is the founder of Blackstone. There's a really good book, if anybody's interested in private equity. The book is called What It Takes by Stephen Schwarzman. And it's all about how he founded Blackstone and turned it into the multi-deca-billion-dollar empire, if not trillion-dollar empire that it is today. And right on the corner of East 40th Street is the original and most famous New York Public Library, or the Stephen Schwarzman building. Stephen Schwarzman really made the bulk of his money on Wall Street via LBOs, or leverage buyout deals. The building with the red spire just behind the Stephen Schwarzman building is Bank of America Tower. The current CEO of Bank of America is Brian Moynihan. Now, we're not going to see the building tonight on the walking tour, but if you're interested in really nice brand new Class A office towers in Manhattan, I want you to check out this address. It's called 270 Park. It is going to be the brand new address of JP Morgan Chase. That's going to be Jamie Dimon's brand new office tower on Park Avenue. another home to the Wall Street mega bank. And this obviously comes at a time when return to work or return to the office is really being pushed across the board, not only by major Wall Street CEOs like Jamie Dimon, but as well as current President Trump signing the executive order to bring back all federal employees to the office. This is one of my favorite shots. You see the two lions, patience and fortitude, on the left and the right, and that beautiful, beautiful architecture that is the New York Public Library. Now, if you're interested in finance, there's a really good book that you can read in the reading room of the New York Public Library. It's very rare. The book is called Margin of Safety, and the author is Seth Klarman, who's the founder of the Baupost Group. And there was only ever 5,000 books ever published of Seth Klarman's Margin of Safety, so it is quite the rare collectible. And if you want to purchase one of the books, you're going to have to cough up a pretty penny, because for resale, they can go for upwards of $5,000 just for the book. But the New York Public Library, right there on the corner at Bryant Park, they have one in the reading room that you could take out. You can't leave the premise with it, but you can go there and read the book. Once again, it's called Seth Klarman's Margin of Safety. It is widely renowned as one of the best value investing books ever written. Once again, Seth Klarman's Margin of Safety. This is East 42nd Street now. If you were to make a right, this will take you towards the famous Grand Central Station, as well as One Vanderbilt. If I turn the camera to the right, you're going to see Pershing Square. You're going to see the spire of the very famous and iconic Art Deco Chrysler Building. And then a little bit further, you have the beautiful One Vanderbilt, which is one of the city's most coveted Class A office towers. Now, one thing I would advise, many people go to the summit at One Vanderbilt. It's the observation deck, which is quite nice. But I would like to make a recommendation for anybody who holds an American Express card. If you call the number on the back of your Amex card, and if you're visiting New York, tell the concierge to book you a reservation to the Centurion Lounge that sits just under the observation deck of Summit. There's a bar, there's a restaurant, there's a lounge that has quite the unmatched views of New York City. So this is just a little travel tip for you. Once again, the Centurion Lounge at the top of One Vanderbilt. It's really, really impressive up there. We're now crossing 42nd Street to the north side, coming up on 43rd. We'll cross back over to the right due to all the scaffolding. This is actually a really, really nice new development project. And the facade is very reminiscent of 130 William, which is one of my favorite condominiums in New York City, which sits in New York's Lower Manhattan. So I'll pull off to the side and you can kind of see what I mean by the similarities between 525th and 130 William. You can see those arched windows. This is a very, very exciting new development residential building. Again, 525th. Really a beautiful architectural marvel here. Quite reminiscent of 130 William. But also, they kind of kept the architectural integrity of the building in tune with the surrounding facades on Fifth Avenue. Right? Oftentimes developers will, just put up a generic glass encased skyscraper, which can kind of make the buildings look out of place. So I think that facade work, the architecture, kind of keeps it in tune and doesn't make the building look as gaudy as you should say. Okay, this is East 44th Street and Fifth Avenue. We are approaching, fast approaching New York City's Diamond District. And New York City just implemented congestion pricing. However, Fifth Avenue still seems to be quite busy with vehicles. There was a lot of speculation that congestion pricing in New York City would deter drivers from coming into Midtown Manhattan. However, it does look like there's plenty of traffic for a Friday night in the city. Right, this is the corner of 46th Street. On the corner of 47th Street and Fifth Avenue is the official start of New York City's Diamond District, where you have a lot of the bullion dealers. If you've ever watched those YouTube shorts or TikToks, there's a very, I should say, coveted and popular niche called watch talk, where a lot of the watch dealers in the Diamond District will record their negotiations live of Rolexes, Pateks. It's very, very interesting. And it all happens right here on 47th Street in between Fifth Avenue and Avenue of the Americas. You can always tell when you're in New York City's Diamond District because you see those two big diamond lampposts on either corner of 47th and 5th and 47th and Avenue of the Americas. You'll see the two right here. Two lamps in the shape of a diamond. So once again, if you're visiting New York and you want to visit the original Diamond District, really the main drag, a lot of the bullion dealers, right here, 5th Avenue, 47th. We're now fast approaching Rockefeller Center, as well as Saks Fifth Avenue, and the very famous St. Patrick's Cathedral. If we were to make a left and head over towards Avenue of the Americas, we would hit into Radio City Music Hall and the main entrance of where they filmed The Tonight Show. But if we were to make a right, that will take us to Park Avenue, well, Madison Avenue first, and then Park. And that is where the major construction site of 270 Park, which the building is pretty much already complete, it's topped out. That's the nearly $3 billion JP Morgan Chase Class A office tower. You could always tell you're near Rockefeller Center. The beautiful Art Deco facade with the American flags. This is now the corner of East 49th Street and 5th Avenue. And right on the corner of East 50th Street and 5th, you have the very famous St. Patrick's Cathedral that runs from 50th to 51st, an entire city block. And then you also have a very notable building, really one of the first groundbreaking condominiums in New York City, that attracted a lot of foreign buyers, which is Olympic Tower, which is right here on the corner of East 51st and 5th, spanning to Madison Avenue. Now, a lot of non-New Yorkers don't know this, but New York back in the day was very co-op centric. A lot of people, especially a lot of old money in New York, wanted to live in co-ops. Now, the problem is co-op boards tend to be very, very strict, and they only want to accept people who are Americans, and they were very, very, let's say, unwelcoming to foreign buyers and foreign entities. And remember, co-op boards can deny you for any reason. So even if you had these foreign buyers who had all the money in the world that could pay for these properties in cash, oftentimes they would not be approved to purchase in the building because they were a foreigner. Now, a lot of developers kind of caught on to that trend, and they started to develop condominiums in Midtown Manhattan to appeal to foreign buyers, because a lot of the old New Yorkers didn't want to live in Midtown. They wanted to live on the Upper East Side or the Upper West Side, right? They didn't want to live where you work. So Olympic Tower was really marketed to foreign buyers, and it was a raging success and set a trend in New York for developers to market properties within Midtown Manhattan via condos to attract a lot of foreign wealth to the city. This building right here was the old Versace. Now it is Kim Kardashian's Skims. This is Kim K's own store. She has prime Fifth Avenue retail space, might I add. And you have Ferragamo on the right and St. Thomas Church on the left. St. Thomas Church is on the corner of Fifth Avenue and 53rd Street. It is one of the most architecturally pleasing buildings in the city, in my view. Now, if you were to walk a little bit further to the west side, down 53rd Street, you would run into a very famous building, one of the Billionaires Row buildings, 53 West 53rd Street. Here's a good shot of St. Thomas Church.
So he's like, I just want you in 8:30.
On the corner of 54th Street, you're going to have two very notable hotels. On the left-hand side, you're going to have the Peninsula Hotel, which is a 5-star luxurious hotel in the city. And on the right-hand side, you're going to have the one and only St. Regis. Again, East 55th Street and 5th, the Peninsula and the St. Regis. Now, I'd also like to add, right here on the corner of East 54th, this building is one of my all-time favorites in New York. It's called the University Club. Check it out. You can just Google University Club and check out some of the photos of the interior. It's some of the most unbelievably stunning architecture in the city, and it is very reminiscent of the Morgan Library as well as the Stephen Schwarzman building. I mean, just look at how beautiful this building is. And once again, that is the University Club on the corner of 54th and 5th. Just a stunning building on both the inside and the out. And then you go up one more block, and that'll take you to the Peninsula and the St. Regis. Now, you can't see it, but right to the right of us is the brand new Mandarin Oriental Residences on Fifth Avenue. So if you travel the world, if you travel to all the major cities, and you stay at the Mandarin Oriental, well, you have the opportunity to purchase a unit now at the Mandarin Oriental Residences on Fifth Avenue, if you so choose. Now, the building with the bluish and gold top, that's the Crown Building. That's a very famous building in New York City, which sits on the corner of 57th Street and 5th Avenue. That has the Aman New York, which is one of the most luxurious hotel chains in the world, inside that building. And I believe the top penthouse sold for over $100 million at the Aman New York Residences. And then just off to the right on East 56th and 5th, you have Trump Tower, which is going to be closed down, obviously, now, the 56th Street, because Donald Trump is now the 47th President of the United States. So there'll be increased security. It looks like there's some security coming up right now, or down 5th Avenue, I should say. Just down 56th Street, it'll run you into 432 Park Avenue, which is actually the former place of the Drake Hotel. Harry Macklow acquired the Drake Hotel in order to build 432 Park with CIM. And this is the main flagship Tiffany building. This is Trump Tower right here. But one more door down is the flagship Tiffany, which LVMH Moet Hennessy acquired Tiffany and put about $500 million worth of renovations into the building right here on the corner of East 57th Street and 5th. So if you guys enjoyed that walking tour, feel free to leave a like on the video, subscribe for more walking tours in New York City. And if you need help purchasing an apartment in the city, feel free to reach out to me at the email address below, and I'd be more than happy to help you and your family find the perfect place right here in New York City. Thanks so much for watching.